Nick Hart, aka DJ Technick from MUS102, and Mel Wanser is our camera woman.
So the first question we have for Nick is, where are you from?
I'm from Spokane, Washington.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm from Oregon. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
How did you get your start in DJing?
I started DJing actually back in high school. My high school decided that they were going to cancel all of their dances, and so I took it upon myself, being that I'm an entrepreneurship major and kind of entrepreneurial in spirit, I decided that I was going to host the dances myself. And so I did all the booking and all the planning for the events, and I actually ended up doing all the DJing for it. We did 4 of the events. Let's see, the 4th one we did, we actually hired a DJ for, and I saw how technical it was and what it actually takes to be a DJ, and that's when I really got inspired.
That's really cool. So how has DJing and incorporating into your life changed who you are?
I don't know if it's really changed me as a person. It's taught me a lot, that's for sure. I've met a lot of people through it. I definitely have started to develop, I guess more or less my persona is I'm a DJ, so people know me as a DJ. So that's definitely kind of interesting. But yeah.
What was the largest crowd that you've ever had to perform for?
Let's see, to this date, the biggest crowd I think I've ever performed for was, let's see, we did a DJ competition out in the Memorial Union Quad, and I think we had probably about 1,000 to 1,500 people at it, so it was a pretty decent sized gig.
Wow.
That's really cool.
Was that nerve-wracking?
Not really, for 2 reasons. One was because I practiced all of my sets ahead of time, and the other reason was because we had lights shining right in our face, so we could only see about the first like 30 people, and then after that it's just like you had no idea.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, as you said, your name is DJ Technick. How did you get that name?
That's actually kind of a funny story. So when I first started DJing, I never really classified myself as a DJ. I thought being called a DJ was kind of like a prestigious title, and I didn't want to call myself one unless I actually truly thought I was a DJ. It wasn't until about 2 years into about a year and a half to 2 years into DJing that I finally realized that just for like marketing purposes, I should probably have a DJ name. And the reason I chose DJ Technick was because the leading brand of vinyl turntables are actually called Technicks. Some people pronounce them Techniques, but I figured, Technick, it sounds very similar to, Nick.
Yeah.
And it just kind of dawned on me one day. I was like, well, that could kind of work. It's a little corny, but yeah, it works.
It's catchy. I like it.
Yeah.
Do people refer to you as DJ Technick?
No. Not normally.
Except us.
Yeah, exactly. Just friends, more like a mocking tone than more than anything. Yeah.
Well, as you said, you started this as kind of like a hobby for your high school, but do you see this as like a career, or like do you think that it's going anywhere? Is it more just for fun?
At this point, it's just kind of for fun. I plan on pursuing probably some sort of business career, but it is something that I'm really well versed in, and I wouldn't be surprised if I ended up pursuing something within the music industry or something that has to do with
Yeah.
DJing. I don't by any means want to be like a 40-year-old wedding DJ.
Yeah.
But if by some stroke of luck I end up meeting somebody in the industry that thinks that I could do well with it, I think I have a good enough skill set that I could get by and actually become successful with it if by chance I ended up doing that. But right now, it's more just a hobby.
Nice. That's a good one. I like it. So, what would you deem your DJing style?
Style. I guess the best way to define it would be through genre. The genre that I like to, the genre I like to play is like EDM, progressive house, electronic stuff. But I also play a lot of mixed crowd, top 40s, and some hip hop. So it's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, because you DJ at Sub-Zero, correct?
Right. So yeah, I DJ anywhere from like nightclubs to house parties, fraternity sorority dances, weddings, philanthropy events, charity events. So really what it comes down to as a DJ is you need to be able to play what the people want to hear.
Yeah. Find the
Definitely.
crowd.
Right.
Definitely. What techniques do you use to like play those types of music that you like to play? Like I know that house music personally I'm really into, and I feel like it's kind of difficult to like know like when to mash up songs and like
Right.
you know.
Well, alright, so like the main skill to being a DJ, or the primary skill you need to possess to be able to do it is called beat matching, and that's essentially taking the pace or the beat of one song and matching it with the beat of another song, and then crossfading them across themselves so that the beats hit on the same count. And then once you do that, then you can add in different effects or take out different bandwidths and EQs and mess with it from there, and then transition from song to song. But it's being able to match those beats that allow the crowd to not stop dancing, and you kind of feel like the momentum continues on. Without being able to beat match, I mean, you're kind of stuck.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
Where did you learn that technique from, or like any techniques?
Beat matching, I actually taught myself more or less at YouTube.
Is it kind of like by ear? Do you like have to know how to use the program?
Originally, when DJing first started, like back with 2 vinyl turntables
Yeah.
and real records, and like when hip hop originated, and that was the way that they DJed. It was all by ear. I wish I could say that was the way that I originally started. I actually started with Serato, which is a DJ program, which I wouldn't say it does the work for you, but it kind of visualizes what you would try to be listening to. So it definitely helps with the learning curve. Whereas like normally it would take you years to be able to like listen to it and figure it out.
Yeah.
This takes that learning curve down to like a couple months to be able to figure out how to beat match. And now there's actually softwares that'll beat match for you. It literally, once you program and plug in your songs, you hit a button and your songs are synced.
It does all the work.
Right.
Wow, nice. That's interesting. Well, what has your most stressful moment been as a DJ?
Most stressful moment. This is a good one. So this was my sophomore year of college, so about 2 years into DJing, and I was doing a gig. It was a gig for 2 sororities, and they all had their dates. So you figure there's upwards of probably about 700 people going to this dance, and it's a once every 4-year dance. And
Oh.
about 3 hours before the dance was about to start, my computer fried with all of my music on it, a couple thousand songs, and I literally had nothing to go from. And that was definitely my most stressful period. I ended up DJing that dance with one of my buddy's iPods, and I was able to retrieve some old music that I had backed up on a hard drive from like 3 years prior. So it was definitely a struggle, and that was, I mean, I was sweating bullets the entire night. I mean, as soon as that gig got done, I mean, it was like cold shower and straight to bed right afterwards. But it was bad.
It turned out well though?
It did, yeah.
Good.
Yeah. It was alright. Nobody really noticed, so
Good.
That's
it's alright.
good.
Yeah.
So, following that, what has your best time been?
My best DJing experience, that's a really tough one. I really enjoy almost every gig I do. It's the bad ones that stand out because there's really not that many of them. For the most part, I enjoy almost all of them. I would say that DJ competition was a pretty fun one, just because of the size of the crowd, and I felt really prepared going into it. So that's always a good feeling when you're prepared for a set, and then you play it and then you nail it. It's a really good feeling. But more so than having like any really one good gig, I've had like a couple times when I've completely out of nowhere picked like a couple different songs that I was just gonna randomly throw together, and it's when you have those like really perfect transitions that just kind of come out of nowhere, that you just kind of like get pumped on. It sounds kind of corny, but I actually like a couple weekends ago I had like this transition that like it ended up sounding 10 times cooler than I thought it was going to, and like everybody in the crowd was like screaming. So that was
That
you
was
just kind of
awesome.
you get pumped. It sounds weird, but yeah, that's a good experience, I guess.
Awesome. Well, I actually just thought of a really good question. So I've noticed that like a lot of people think that they can be DJs now since
Right.
it is like so computer based. Do you think that anyone who gets one of these like DJ programs can be a DJ, or do you think that you need some special quality to actually like accomplish like being a DJ?
That's a really good question, actually. And you'll talk to a lot of DJs that get kind of, I wouldn't say heated, but I think, yeah, with technology, I mean, I think it's a great thing that so many people are able to become DJs nowadays. I think it, on one hand, it gives people new respect for the people that actually are DJs. Some people kind of take it the other way. They could give less respect to DJs because now everyone can do it.
Yeah.
But I think that there's a couple things that you can't really teach somebody, and that is to be able to read the crowd. I think that's one thing that that's where you bridge the gap from just being a DJ that plays music to actually being a performer or an artist, is when you can read the crowd and you can be able to anticipate what sort of song that they want to hear next.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where you can really tell the difference between a novice and somebody who's been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
Because when they want to build up that energy, they maintain that energy for the rest of the night or for however long they need to.
Yeah.
And I think when it comes down to it, it doesn't matter how good your transitions are. While it is a lot skill based, I think it's more just being able to read your crowd and play the music that they want to play that really makes a DJ a good DJ.
Awesome. Well, I think that's pretty much it, but thank you so much for interviewing with us.
Thank you for having me.
Of
Appreciate
course.
it. All right.
Thank you.